So I think what's really important is to make them feel included and help them along the journey.
Leadership is not the domain of privilege or pedigree.
But when a woman leader comes, not only she works as a role model, but she also promotes more women around her.
When we talk about women in leadership, the focus is often on urban privileged spaces. So are we as a society overlooking the potential of women in the underrepresented, the intersectional backgrounds, the women in the villages, in marginalized communities, women in disabilities? How can corporates move beyond tokenism and truly unlock the potential of these really diverse and yet often overlooked segments? I know I'm just going to start from all of you because it's such an important topic. So, Anu, if you could start with it.
Okay, sure. The Better India, we've had the advantage of being able to see some of the most extraordinary leadership, examples emerge from some of the most neglected sectors, whether it's rural villages or whether it's marginalized communities and tribal belts. All of these places, we've seen some amazing examples of women leaders, emerge. Whether it's been, women building rural businesses, small businesses in rural settings, or whether it's been tribals like, uplifting their communities, or just women redefining the meaning of grit and resilience, across the board. One thing that we've learned from all of these stories is that leadership is not the domain of privilege or pedigree. That's one thing that's clearly stood out across all of these things. What it really is about is the lived experience. It's about empathy. It's about solving real problems in the toughest of circumstances. That's where we've seen real leaders emerge, right? And that's where we believe corporates also have a huge opportunity to play a role in this. Imagine telling these stories of women leaders from the grassroots in these companies, whether it's in mentorship, circles, or whether it's in learning sessions, or even, incorporating them in the supply chain partnerships where they can partner with women-led social enterprises, for instance, for their supply chains, right? There's so many ways in which corporates can play a role in supporting and also uplifting women leaders from the grassroots. And it plays a dual role. Not only does it, bring up those stories and help those women leaders get recognition, but also internally changes the entire fabric of the company, right? Where you're able to inspire more women, you're able to create aspiration around this, break stereotypes, and just kind of unlock opportunities which probably never were thought of before. So what I believe is that when we are able to tell the stories of diverse journeys of women, not only able to inspire more women, but we are also able to kind of help corporates redefine leadership within their own setup. So I think corporate India has such a big role to play in uplifting, women leaders from the grassroots.
Like me and Radhan, I think I must congratulate the Better India for taking such amazing stories. Actually, sometimes when you are being very sad, and I don't think there's even a single day when I don't read one of the stories at that.
Thank you. That's such an encouragement for our entire team.
So nice to hear.
It's two demons that, oh my God, what amazing work you people are doing, because the world doesn't know how leadership emerges. Sometimes it comes out of adversity, right? And in many times, I saw my mother being such a great leader. And great leader does two things. One has to have a vision as to where we are going. And it could be corporate leadership or any leader role, the way you define leadership. Second is to remove hurdles from the team's path. Because if you do those two things, you are a leader. Our mothers did that for us.
Yeah.
And as you go back to those lessons, also what the stories that come out of the field, I think it's absolutely crazy how women have taken charge in very difficult circumstances. And I think each one of them is a true example of real leadership. I get very, very inspired by that.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Love to know your thoughts on this.
So, you talked about earlier when women getting more opportunity. When I actually read the Better India stories, I think that seems to be a myth because to some of the leadership you're seeing re-elected, demonstrated by them is quite amazing. But if you switch this to corporates, the corporates have a real opportunity to actually unleash that potential of talent that we can see in women. I would say, when corporates are somewhat urban focused, but they are now starting to look at our smaller city as well, our smaller, and the hybrid working has actually really, really helped. Actually, and we know that hybrid working has helped women grow in the workplace, right? The other thing I'd say is for corporates is to not to think gender is only one aspect. So I think to be truly successful, corporates have to actually look at the social compulsions and the structure that they're working with in the communities that they go out. So they actually do that intersection right and then put gender on top of it, then you have a chance to be way more successful than you probably have. Two other things. One is, I feel particularly for women of our particular milieu or their community, role models are really important. That's true. Now, role models, interestingly, if you tell somebody sitting in, I don't know, in a little village in Rajasthan, there's this person in Bombay who's done exceedingly well. It doesn't really make
It's true.
I remember was at one of an email where there was this girl who stood up and said, she's Panchayat president now, and she said when she was growing up, she didn't have ambition, but she saw somebody from her own village taking on this role of Panchayat president. She said, if she can do it, I can, because they are in your world. It's about how you can actually encourage them and we become role models. I think for us in Optum India, two things. We work very closely with for underprivileged and underserved communities and women and men, but in terms of digital and skilling to enable them to become employable and employed, and also work with NASCOM Foundation on STEM and engineering and all of that. But it's not employability, it's about inclusion. They come into the workforce. It's their first job, and in many cases, it's the first person in that entire village or the community who's actually got a college degree and who is coming into the workforce. So I think what's really important is to make them feel in order and help them along the journey. It's also a matter of human rights. It's a matter of human capability. I mean, that exists in the country where you are leaving out 50% of the talent, a completely different perspective that you are missing. So I think it's very important to have women as leaders. And it's also time now that women start at there's roles also fairly seen on the table.
Absolutely. And I think the power of role models is, at the Better India, we see that happening every day. We see us covering a story from a Rajasthan, from a Bihar, and then we get letters telling how that one story has inspired them to do the same. All of this just proves one thing, that women are not waiting to be empowered. They're already leading from the front, in every space, every field, from villages to studios to boardrooms, they're already doing it.
They start shining, and when the women do well, the whole society is biased.
Absolutely, ma'am. Absolutely. That's very true. In fact, and that is why I think that, I think we all here agree that, investing in women's leadership is not about just building equity or equality. It is so much more. It's building resilience, it's expanding markets, it's securing India's future growth. Because as you said that, when women lead, India does not just grow, it transforms, into a much stronger, healthier and better nation. Faster, that's true. Yes.
Much better.
Yeah. With that, we are at an end to this session. Thank you so much, all of you, for sharing your insightful answers.